Hey, 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 welcome to Becoming a Powerhouse Brand podcast. I'm Jackie Laws, personal brand visibility and empowerment mentor for heart-led, impact-driven entrepreneurs who know they are here to change lives with their magic and build a dream life by design while they do it. This is where we blend soul, strategy and subconscious work to help you stand out as the leader you already are. We talk identity shifts, confidence, energetics, and the real behind the scenes of building a brand that feels aligned, magnetic, and apologetically you. If you are ready to take center stage in your life and business, you are in the right place. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello, beautiful soul. My goodness me, it is Monday, the 29th of June, and I think it has been over a month since I last recorded an episode. So this is going to be a bit of a catch up, a bit of an update on what has been going on. For those of you that follow me on social media, you may have noticed that I've hardly posted. In fact, I don't think I've posted on Instagram since the 11th of June, which, as someone that has posted at least 2-3 times a week since 2016, is a bit of a gone off the radar phase. But loads has been coming up for me recently, and I just thought I would use this episode to share, to inspire, to connect with and resonate with those that are going through a similar thing. And I just think since I turned 40 in April this year, things have been moving at speed in terms of the identity shift that have been going on, the awareness, the intuitive nudges. All of these things have just been coming up, and it has created so many different sort of paths. I almost feel like I've got to a point in my life and business where I'm at a crossroads and there are multiple paths that all look really appealing and exciting and interesting. And I'm just at that point of like, where do I go? Like, which one do I go to? Now, I have just got back from the most incredible trip to the States. So I got back a few days ago now, and it was like a 10-day break, visiting family. It was for my brother's wedding, and I got to spend some time with my mum, celebrating my 40th. We went to New York. Then we went down to New Jersey in this beautiful location called Belmar. If you've not been, I would highly recommend it. Really, really stunning area. Like all of the streets are filled with these stunning hydrangea bushes, and everyone is really friendly and upbeat, and the beach is incredible. It's a private beach you have to pay to go on. So like everything is immaculately clean, and just honestly, there was just something about the energy there that just really almost, like, I guess, woke me up. And then we flew down to Florida, which is where my mum lives, and we had a few days there, and it was the break that I really needed to kind of realign and just allow myself that space to think about, what am I doing next? Like, what do I actually want next? And anyway, like it every time I have these trips, it was the same when I went to the States at the end of 2024, when I went to South Carolina. Same thing happened then. It was almost like there's something bigger, there's something more here. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but it was that moment of realization that there is so much more available. And I wasn't sure if I was on the right path, even though the impact that I wanted to create became bigger. Like, all of the awareness became bigger. My intuitive nudges became bigger and more apparent. And it's almost like over the last year, 18 months, I've been going on this real journey of like exploring different parts of me and what it is that I want to be doing. And for anyone that's going through a similar thing, maybe it's a midlife crisis, who knows? But I know from having conversations with other people similar age to me, maybe a bit older, that have been going on this real journey of not necessarily wanting to burn everything down and start again, but just this feeling of there's something else. Like, what is it? Now, I experienced, for those that don't know, I kind of got into spiritual healing, holistic healing myself personally, about 7 years ago now. And it was when I was on the wait list for back surgery with severe sciatica. Like, we're talking pain that I was in tears just standing doing the washing up in the kitchen. Going for family walks, which is like my favorite thing to do, was such a challenge because I was just in constant excruciating pain all the time, the kind of pain that makes you feel sick, like you've just got that horrible nausea there as well. And I had been referred, I'd been going to physio for over a year. I'd been going to the chiropractor. I'd been doing all the things that I was recommended to do by my GP. following all the normal protocols. Nothing was working. So I was on the wait list for back surgery. And somebody said to me, have you tried Reiki? And I hadn't even thought of doing that. I'd actually, strangely enough, learned about Reiki and healing through somebody that specializes in animal healing. So my dog Ruby, who was absolutely my soul dog, I got her in, I think it was 2011. It could have even been before that. My dates and time and everything is just all a bit of a blur. But anyway, a long time ago. And when she was about 6 months old, I took her to the person I already knew, who I'd been connected with for quite some time for a previous dog. But this time it was a bit different. And long story short, she communicated with my dog and brought up a issue that my dog had that nobody would know, like unless they had really tapped into a frequency, like was able to communicate, like it just wouldn't have been possible. Anyway, that was kind of my first realization into there's actually something else out there, like there are people who can connect with higher source, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, universe, frequency, energies. And it was kind of my first experience of this whole concept of the power energy has, and how we're all energetic beings, how we are all universe, we are all universal beings. And the fact that all of us are here is a miracle in itself. So that was my very first experience, but I'd only ever experienced it firsthand through my dogs. Never ever done it myself. And anyway, I went along to have a Reiki session with the same person because she works with humans and animals. Animals is like her thing, but she also works with humans as well. And I went in there and I definitely wasn't open-minded at all. I honestly didn't think it was going to work. I was really miserable. I'd obviously tried all these things. I was in pain all the time. And I walked in there, and when I came out, I remember being in tears because I was so happy that for the first time I had no pain. I was standing taller. I just felt so good, and I was able to move. I was able to walk. I could just do all the basic things with no pain. And I only had one session of Reiki for this at the time. Now, I know from speaking to my practitioner and other people that specialize in Reiki and healing and energetic work that a lot of it works in cycles. So depending on whereabouts you are in the cycle, depends on how much maybe healing you need to be done, how much a lot realignment needs to be done. And it just happened. I was obviously kind of working my way around the clock, so to speak. And I only needed that one session to really help like create that shift. Now, fast forward to today, or like the last 48 hours, and the sciatic pain came back. I have been in agony for the last like day and a half, to the point where yesterday, Sunday, I was completely wiped out all day. Having the only position I could get in where I wasn't in pain was lying on my back on the sofa with my head propped up with a load of cushions and my feet in the air. Like that was it. If I stood, I was leaning forward because I couldn't stand up straight. The pain, whether I stood up straight or leant forward, was just there all the time, despite doing hours of various stretches, yoga poses, all the things that would normally help to loosen up a stiff or tight back. Nothing was working. And I just thought, I'm going to message my Reiki practitioner and just ask on the off chance, does she have an appointment for tomorrow? And normally she is fully booked. Like you have to wait a while to get a space. And she came back to me saying, could you do 9:30 tomorrow? Which that in itself is a miracle because she's just, like I say, it doesn't normally have availability. So I went there today. I actually was in tears in the car on the way over because I drove myself. So it's an hour's journey. I was in agony the whole time and literally got there and I thought, do you know what? I think this pain is worse than what it was 7 years ago when I came then. So I kind of went in thinking, I'm not sure if this is going to work as well as it did last time. But I thought I'm going to give it a go anyway because anything is like better than what I currently had. And I came out, and as soon as she'd done the session, I was able to stand tall and I had tightness still in my back. So obviously I do need to have like maybe a couple more sessions to help completely clear it. But she did loads of healing energy Reiki work on me throughout my whole spine, picking up all of the areas where there were like energy blocks. And honestly, like it was, to have that experience, you cannot put into words really the incredible transformation that has instantly. And it just goes to show how powerful energy is. And when you have stuck energy in your body through not listening to your intuition, through taking wrong directions, through not listening to what your body is telling you, you will literally be forced to stop, which is exactly what's happened to me. But the weirdest thing isn't the fact that I've had this session that has cleared my pain. The weirdest thing was the session itself. So my Reiki practitioner has been in this location for 18 years. And she said she's never experienced anything like this before today. So during the session, she's working her way like along my body, and she got to my midsection area. And the music that was playing, bearing in mind, this is a CD, it's not radio, like there shouldn't be any interference. It's a CD in a CD player, it's all plugged into the mains and everything. The volume just like dipped a little bit. And then it went really low to the point where it sounded like it had just gone off, but it was still playing. And then it came on like a few seconds later, really loud. Like the volume, it was just doing this for the whole time that she was working on my midsection. Really, really strange. Like scientifically does not make sense at all. And then the other weird thing that kept happening was the clock not only stopped, but it went backwards. Like the actual clock went backwards. Um, Now, anybody that is into kind of the spiritual world be like, yeah, okay, that's all a sign. You're being guided. You're getting really strong signs from the universe. And even my Reiki practitioner was saying, this is literally, you are being told to listen to your gut. You need to listen to your gut and take the right path for you. We'd had a bit of a conversation before she started the session. And it just made me really realize that I've completely been ignoring so many signals that have been coming up. So when I have been doing things like meditation over the last couple of years, especially, so often when I close my eyes, when my mind is wandering, when thoughts are coming into play, I get visions of this white tiger. White tigers are always in my visions when I'm meditating, doing anything like that. I also get visions of being in the water, kind of like I'm a mermaid and there's dolphins around and everything, which is really interesting because when I had an Akashic Records reading with Helen Snook, she said that my soul originates. I'm like from Mintakan origination, which is essentially like my soul is a mermaid. That's what it comes from. So that was kind of just like reinforcing that. But also when those thoughts were coming into my head today during my session, the wind chimes and the birds outside were going crazy. Every time I was thinking in my head about working with animals, which is a thought that's been coming up for me a lot over the last couple of years, whether it is, I would really love to learn how to do Reiki on animals, especially. I'd really love to do some kind of like communication with animals, some kind of rehabilitation thing with animals and dogs. And I couldn't put my finger on it. But since I was a child, I've always loved the idea of working with animals. I was always going to go down the route of working with animals or the creative route, both of which I was told as a child that you can't make money in that. And coming from a kind of negative mindset around money growing up, I was told that because you can't make money in it, it means that you're not going to be successful, which means you're not going to be doing anything with your life, basically. So I never followed the path of the animals, and I just happened to fall into the route of creativity and following that kind of passion. So that's been my journey throughout my whole career. But I think because I've been having so many of these thoughts about working with animals, and obviously today's session was just, there was definitely, we had some kind of spirit presence with us in the room today. And it was just giving that confirmation that, yeah, I think I really need to listen to this. So this episode isn't just kind of a download of everything that I've been doing, although it kind of feels like that's what I've been doing on this talk. This is just there's no wrong or right time to follow a new direction. And for me, what I have realized is it's so important to follow your heart, your soul, your intuition. Like, what is it that you want to be doing? And if something feels off, you don't have to do it. You don't have to follow a path that other people have done just because it's worked for them. And actually, what I've learned over the last year, especially, is I thought I wanted to have the money. I thought I was so driven by how much money I wanted to make and the goals that I had, financial goals. But actually, the money comes when you're leaning into what your soul is here to do. And I know for me, it's through communication. I know doing things like my podcast, through hosting my events, through doing my one-to-one support with my clients. that is literally like lighting my soul up, because I'm helping other people, I'm making that difference, I'm making an impact, and I'm just sharing through communication my own skills and expertise that is actually making a difference. But the other way I have a skill of doing that is I seem to have this ability to communicate with animals. Like, I'm always drawn to animals, animals are always drawn to me. And I know from my spirit guide being a tiger, through getting all these nudges, through having these visions of animals coming to play, I've always been really drawn to animals, that there is something else there. So this isn't me making a massive pivot, dropping everything, burning everything to the ground and saying, I'm just going to go and work with animals now. But it's me having that realization that there is another path for me that is destined for me, that obviously is linked to working with animals, and to just be open to receiving those signs, those opportunities, the things that come up. And that is the thing with manifestation through following your intuition, is it's not just you taking action or thinking logically, okay, right, I want to work with animals, so what's the first thing, what's the business, what's the logo look like, what is the business name, how can I do this thing? It's not going into the kind of logical thinking, it's just having the energetic awareness of being open to receiving nudges and information from the universe. So now that I have had that session today, and I've said in the car on the way back, I've said out loud to my Reiki practitioner, I've spoken to other people about it, that I'm just open to exploring what that looks like, whether it is maybe a animal Reiki course pops up into my periphery. Maybe it is an opportunity comes up to work with animals in some other capacity, like whatever it is, I'm open to receiving any nudges or anything that comes up for me, and trusting that this is actually a path I'm meant to go down. It's not me completely giving up and taking on a full, I'm jumping in with both feet and only following this direction. And I think that's not necessarily a mistake, because we always learn from actions we've taken. But one thing I've learned from the past is when I've made pivots previously, what I've done is I've stopped what I was already doing that was making the money, that was helping me to grow and giving me that security to allow me to pivot. And I literally stopped and started from zero, which anybody that knows, like when you've done that, it is so much harder to get things off of the ground, because one, people don't know you for that thing. Two, you've got to put so much more time, energy, and also trust and know that sometimes it can take you a good couple of years before you start making any kind of decent income with that. And actually, that's what's happened when I made my previous pivot, which was moving away from my agency model into growing my own personal brand. It has taken 2 years to start building that momentum and that consistency. And now I'm obviously open to exploring this whole animal side, whatever that may be. That doesn't mean I'm going to drop what I'm doing now, because actually I love what I do. I love that I'm growing the event that I do, my Light Leaders event. I love that I get to work with my clients one-to-one. I really enjoy creating on my podcast, and I'm just being more open to following what feels good for me, because I think I've followed so many paths over the years where I've thought I need to do something because that's how you scale. You need to have an online membership. You need to have this Facebook group. You need to have the course. You need to have the evergreen thing. You need to have the group program and all this stuff. And I've done those things. I have experimented, tested, launched. I've done all of those things. And there's always been something that's felt off with following all of those things. So for me, it just isn't aligned to what it is that I'm here to create. And yet things like my Light Leaders event, my VIP days with my clients, my website audits that I do, and all of the other offers that I launch out there now are because they're things that really do light me up, that get the results for my clients, and allow me to be not just in tune with my creative side, but to also make that impact as well. And that is what I'm here to do, and that is what I'm sure you're here to do as well. If you're listening to this podcast, you want to help others, whether they're animals, humans. You're here because you're passionate about making an impact and really helping to change somebody's life with the magic that you create. Now, this episode, I just want to remind you that you don't have to keep going down the path that you've been going on because that's the thing you've always done. I have only ever worked in brand marketing and content creation. I've been in the world of content creation since before Instagram even existed. Like, that's how long I've been doing it for. So it's kind of been a really natural, easy path for me to just keep following it. But that doesn't mean that is the only path. And you get to choose at any point whether you want to pivot or try something new or experiment or learn something. Like, we as humans, we love to learn new things, and allowing ourselves that time, space, and freedom to try something new, to experiment, to see where our other skills and strengths are that maybe we've never even tried before. So although I've been in the kind of spiritual practices world for a good number of years, I've never done it myself. I've only ever been kind of a client of those people, but it's something that I would love to learn for myself. Like, things that have been coming up for me since my trip in the States is I would love to learn about more about sound healing, and I keep getting bombarded with these most beautiful crystal sound bowls. And I'm like, maybe I need to explore that, because that allows me to be creative, that allows me to do the healing, that allows me to be really spiritual and free and follow my passion of music and all of those things into one. So again, that's another thing that I'm going to explore. And it's just allowing yourself that time, space, and just openness to try something new. You are never too old to start something. You're never too late to start something new, ever. Like, you always have an opportunity every single day to pick up a new hobby, to try something you've not done before, and just see where it goes. There's no right or wrong path. There is no one way to create the life and business that you want to create. And that is what I want to get out of this episode, is to really empower you to take those opportunities to listen to what your body is telling you. Because when you don't listen, like I hadn't been listening to all of the nudges that were coming up about working with animals for such a long time, that when they did come up, I kind of shushed those nudges. I literally told myself, no, that's not for me. I'm like brand and marketing. That's my thing. That's what people know me for. And ignoring, even as I'm saying those words, my back has literally started twinging as I've said it. So that's literally the universe telling me, no, we're going to follow this nudge with animals. Like, you've wanted to do this since you were tiny. You were born to do this. So I'm going to trust that this is a path I'm meant to go down. And that is what I wanted to share in this episode today, to just empower you to be open to receiving things and allow yourself time to switch off. For me, not posting on Instagram since the 11th of June, so like, what, 3 weeks now, it's allowed me that space to really switch off, to sit with my thoughts, to allow things to come up. I've been reading a couple of really good books and just being open to receiving new downloads and other things that are going to come up into my world, having conversations with people without thinking, oh, okay, well, I need to post this thing about that because I'm launching this thing. And I think we get so driven, particularly in the coaching mentoring space, that we need to think about that next launch and how many clients have we got in there? We need to serve this client. We need to do that thing because we've got to be visible. We need to get more people to buy into this thing. And I think we can get so wrapped up that we're almost in this entrepreneurial rat race, that the very thing that the majority of people I speak to have escaped from their 9 to 5, and yet they're kind of sucked into it again, just in another capacity. And I am officially leaving the entrepreneurial rat race because I want to do things differently. And yes, it might take me longer to hit the financial goals that I've set, but I'm absolutely okay with that, because what I'm loving at the moment is I have the freedom to explore. I have the time to go and do stuff and drop things. I don't have weekly set Zoom calls, and I love that I don't have those things, because for me it means I'm not stuck with the same weekly pattern, process, and kind of commitments, that I have the freedom to pick and choose how my day goes. So unless I have things like a scheduled in client conversation or a podcast recording, everything else is very free flowing. That it means that I have that freedom to explore, to play, to have fun, to follow what feels good in that moment in time. And this is the thing, we get to choose how our business is run. We get to choose how we do things, how we launch, who we have in our circles, like all of those things. It is always a choice. And I think if you ever feel trapped by your own business, then there is probably a very good sign that something needs to be adjusted, because I'm sure you didn't create your business to feel trapped in something. If you wanted to feel trapped in something, then you might as well be having a 9 to 5, because at least that way you get the bonuses of the holiday, the sick pay, and all of the other luxuries of being employed. So if you are feeling trapped by your own business right now, drop me a message. Maybe there is something that I can see that you could change, or even if this episode has really helped you today, drop me a message and let me know, because it's always really good to hear your feedback. and any eye-opening moments that you've had, or if there's like even a realization of, oh my gosh, I'm missing this thing, maybe there is something else for me, I've been feeling like I'm churning out the same stuff over and over again, I feel like things aren't moving so many times, and I've done this for years in my business. I've kept trying to push the same thing over and over and over again, thinking if I just keep going, it's going to work eventually. If I just keep pushing this thing, it's going to work eventually. 9 times out of 10, it hasn't. And I know they always say consistency, dedication, commitment, doing all of these things, pushing through, working hard, it always works out in the end. But sometimes actually doing those things isn't in alignment to what it is that you're meant to be doing. So yes, it will work for some people, doesn't work for everybody, and it certainly does not work for me when I do those things, because forcing energy, pushing energy, especially from a place of lack, it always attracts more of that thing, which is lack. You're literally going to be reflective with that back to you. So it's so important to be following what lights you up the most, and follow your heart, follow your soul, and just be really open to trusting that those nudges are absolutely right for you. I hope you've enjoyed this episode today, and I cannot wait to get back into recording more regular episodes. I've got a backlog of, I don't know, but maybe 5 or 6 episodes that I need to get out there with some incredible guest experts. So I will be launching those soon. I'll probably be doing 2 episodes a week over the next few weeks just to catch up a little bit. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, do leave a review. I would love to see what you think of the episode, and also how you're enjoying the podcast. Let me know if there are any guests you would love to have on, or if you would like to be a guest yourself, then drop me a message and we can have a conversation. But I will see you in the next episode. Take care.